Well, that's probably going to be the last time this car is going to move under its own power, at least in the next 4 weeks, if not longer. And let me tell you guys why. But first, let's go ahead and get this racked up, and I'll explain everything to you.
Oh, it's been so long. I don't even remember where my headlash is.
All right, so what's so broken with my Evo? Well, in layman's terms, if you know Evos, transfer case death whine. I guess that's not really layman's terms because it's only if you know about Evos. Anyways, my transfer case is whining. It has been for a little bit. It's not super bad. I think I started hearing it just hopefully early enough where I'm not going to have to replace the ring and pinion, but it's definitely there. It definitely sounds like transfer case, even though I have a dog box in this car with straight cut gears. It's a relatively different noise, especially most noticeable in fifth on the highway, which fifth is still the helical factory gear with a synchro. Fifth isn't straight cut. So that explains why I'm hearing it in fifth, is because the transmission's quieter. Now the transfer case is making the whining noise. Now in the world of Evos, if you're not aware, especially Evo 7, 8, 9, T-case death whine is a term that gets thrown around quite a bit, and I mean it's pretty accurate. Basically, your transfer case starts whining because it's dead or about to die. The ring and pinion or the bearings fail inside, and then you need a new transfer case. But you can rebuild them as well. So basically what I'm doing is I'm ripping the transfer case and the transmission out of this car. The transmission's fine, it's driving fine, shifting fine, but I'd estimate there's somewhere around 10,000-15,000 miles on a transmission, which came with the car when I got it. And in the world of dog boxes, that's actually pretty good. If it was a drag car or a 24/7 track car exclusively, this transmission should have been rebuilt a long time ago. But because it's a street car, and I think me along with most of the previous owners don't beat like crazy on this thing, it's lasted a pretty good amount of time. And like I said, it still feels good, but I figured while the transfer case is out, might as well send the transmission out, just overhaul it with new dog rings and seals and bearings, and just, we're already there, why not, right? And if anything, it'll prolong the life of the transmission even more. If I have a dog ring break now and destroy the gear set, I'm going to be in a lot more money and a lot more time versus just overhauling it now, getting another 10, 15, 20,000 miles out of it without having to replace the gear set. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to start up top, tear apart the intercooler and intake piping, start getting everything off the top of the transmission, get that ready to come out, and then we'll pull the wheels off. I've already loosened them. We'll hop underneath, start draining fluids, going through different bolts and bracketry and axles, and do everything. It shouldn't be that tough of a job, but it's already later in the day. I think it's about 7 o'clock because I did work today. Had a bit of a late start since I had to go to Harbor Freight to get a slide hammer for the intermediate shaft that's going to come out between the two. So I'm probably going to have a late night regardless. I'm estimating minimum midnight, if not 1, 2 a.m. But I need to get this pulled apart so I can ship everything off to TRE to overhaul and get back to me hopefully within a month, and get back on the road because I haven't driven this in like 4 months. And in case you thought you misheard me, you didn't. 4 months, actually, what is it, May? So, yeah, 4 or 5 months I haven't really driven the car. I mean, I've driven it once or twice, just to the shop here and to move house. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I had it here on this lift. I drained out all of the drivetrain fluids again, and the T-case was pretty glittery, and I did it because it wasn't necessarily due yet. I was going to do it every 3,000 to 5,000, and I've only put 1,500 miles in the car, 2,000 miles in the car since I've bought it about a year ago. However, the T-case whine I heard months ago now, so I just kind of parked the car so I don't hurt it more, explore options. And yeah, so I dropped all the fluids. I thought, hey, for 100, 150 bucks, I can put new fluids and everything again. see if it makes it go away. Obviously it didn't. T-case death wine, once you have it, doesn't just go away. And it was low on fluid. Come to find out, the seal between the T-case and the transmission on the inside appears it's leaking, which I never noticed, or it started leaking more recently. The previous owner did put this transfer case in the car because he blew up his old one because he dropped out his drain plug driving and didn't notice. So he put this one in. I don't know if he didn't put the gasket back in between the two, or if it failed at some point and I didn't notice. I mean, it's not puking gear oil, but it was definitely low. You know, the transfer case only holds about a quart, if not a little less, and they're very sensitive. So if you blow up your transfer case, it's probably because you're low on oil, and they also have filling issues and everything, and that's a whole other topic for later. Well, my Evo has another pretty major problem. I've only been working for about 10 minutes. Check this out. I pulled the intake off. This is actually the first time during my ownership I've had this off to look at the turbo. It's a Precision 6466. At some point I'd like to make a full build breakdown video. I was looking at the turbine housing, and let's see if we can find it. One of these, there it is in the bottom. You can see that one blade has made contact with something. Doesn't look like it's majorly damaged. There is a little nick out of it, but if I get my hand in here, not sure if you can hear that, but that is axial play, and it sounds like it's actually hitting the exhaust housing. Doesn't feel like it's rubbing if I spin it and pull or push. It is maybe rubbing a little bit if I pull on it. So now, ball bearing turbo, Precision 6466 Gen 2, I believe, but I'm probably going to end up now having to pull this turbo off and send it out to Boost Lab to get rebuilt. I have been wanting to recoat the exhaust housing since I got the car, since it's all rusty as well. So, well, I guess I'm also going to be doing that. Yay! Just keeps getting pricier and pricier, but I want to drive the car and I don't want it to explode on me, especially blow up the turbo driving around doing a pull or something. So, might as well. Forgot this is gonna leak and I don't have a drain pan with me. I don't think these were supposed to come together. Well, I'm gonna do a little bit of research to find out, but I'm pretty sure this is the intermediate shaft and that it's not supposed to come with the entire axle, but I could be wrong. If it is the intermediate shaft, I could have started this an hour earlier, because I'm out of breath, sorry. I just run to get that drip pan. But I could have started this an hour earlier, because I ran to Home Depot to buy a slide hammer, because you need one to pull the shaft out. But I think it just
came. No, this isn't the intermediate shaft, is it? I'm gonna find out, but interesting. This is so zoomed in for this sitting shot. Yep, that's the intermediate shaft that's on the floor in front of me. It came with the axle. Not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, the good news is I can go return that slide hammer because that's the only thing I needed it for. But yeah, the whole thing came out as one, and it was like no force. It was just whoop, and the whole thing just came out together, which I mean, that's not supposed to happen. I don't know if I should be worried about that or not, though. So, onwards, I guess. I'm gonna pull the axle out of the passenger side. I'm not gonna film it. It's the same thing. Just drop the ball joint and pull the axle out, but so far so good. I just need to knock off the wood. That's not wood. Why is everything metal in a workshop? That's wood. Done. Is there a time limit for that thing? Well, draining the transmission fluid now. I've got both axles out.
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
All right, well, draining the transmission fluid now. I've got both axles out, CV axles. Draining the transfer case after. I've made a mess already because I missed. Oh, it's gonna start going off the edge. But yeah, missed. The bucket thing. What do you call that? Drain receptacle? Oil drain thing? Whatever. Missed a little bit, made a mess. But if you're curious on what kind of damage, you'll have to excuse the hair, I'm disgusting already. What kind of damage, not even damage, what wear looks like on a dog box. This is literally after 2 drives, driving it home from the shop and then back to the shop after I put new fluid in last time. And this is right after an oil change. So maybe 30, 40 miles, 50 miles if I've made a detour, I don't even remember anymore. You can see how much material is on the magnet of the drain plug there. And that's just from, like I said, maybe 30, 40 miles, which is normal. This is not concerning. This is normal wear and tear on dog boxes. This is what you expect. That's why you change the oil every 2, 3, 4, 5,000 miles, depending how you drive it. Obviously, if you're racing the car, after every race day, you do an oil change. So, while I'm waiting for this to drain, I figured to mention it's kind of interesting. I've been waiting on this day for 4 or 5 months now, and kind of dreading it, if I'm honest. Like, not dreading the fact that I have to do the work or spend the money to rebuild this stuff, but more so just because I'd just rather not. If I'm totally candid, I'd just rather drive a car, but I'm trying to be responsible with a car like this. Yeah, it's interesting. I've been kind of not looking forward to doing this for months. Not that I've been putting it off, it's just life is crazy busy. But now I'm here and I'm doing it, and I'm like kind of excited, even though I found out my turbo needs a rebuild. Another thing where I probably caught it in time to keep the turbo from disintegrating. But I mean, it's just kind of exciting. Like, this is making me want to do more stuff. The AC in this car doesn't work. It's all there. It's an AC car. It's not been deleted. It's just got a leak somewhere. It's never been charged since I've had it about a year now. Oh, I think it's this month. I think this month is a year with the car. I just never had AC. It didn't matter because 8 months out of 12 here in northern Utah, it's cold. So it's only gotten warm now for the first time since I've really had the car. So it's making me excited to find the leak and fix the AC and have a 700 horsepower street car with air conditioning. And I just kind of want to do a couple of other things. The first thing I really want to do after I get the transmission and the transfer case back in is a new shifter. I've already picked one out. It's not cheap, but it looks really cool and it's got built-in lockouts. It's not an ILR shifter. If you know Evos, I've got something else in mind. So should be really cool and tighten up the shifts. I'll make another video on that. Obviously do the AC, and that's honestly really all the car needs. Another thing I'm excited about though is, as you've heard in videos, when you push the clutch and the throwout bearing screams like crazy. Another common Evo thing, especially when you've got a triple or a twin disc. So obviously I'm going to be putting a new throwout bearing in while I'm at it, and I have a spare Exity triple with like 500 miles on it at the house, and I've had clutch striking issues on this car since I had it. Since I got it, and I haven't been able to figure it out. I've replaced the clutch line, I've bled the clutch slave 5 different times, I've adjusted the master, it's just never right. It's always dragging just a little bit. Obviously with a dog box, doesn't really matter. Most places I notice it is going into first or reverse. Even with the clutch in, you can hear the idle drop a little bit because the car wants to go. But it's not so significant. It's like killing the car, and the shifting's probably a little harsher than it should be with a dog box even, but I'm really not too worried about it. So with that other XD, I'm planning on putting that in here instead, especially depending on how this triple disc looks. But I'm willing to bet that the splines on the clutch discs, the actual center splines, the teeth, are probably worn out. It was a super common issue with XD triples when they first came out 10, 15 years ago for this car. People were just rounding out the insides of their clutch discs, making their clutch unusable, and before it would just completely fail, obviously drag and float around more than it should and ruins the drivability of the car. So I'm hoping, it's something related to that. Obviously I'm not hoping it's a clutch issue, but I also am, so I can remedy that. Also, it started to shudder recently. You let off the clutch from a stop and you can feel the whole car just... Doesn't do it every time. Does it sometimes. Depends on how much throttle you're giving it, how aggressively you're pulling away. Obviously, you don't really want to ride these clutches super bad, but you also have to give them a lot of revs for them to bite smoothly and not just stall the car. Not even talking about launches. I've never launched this car once. I'm not planning on it. It's stock axle, as far as I can tell. Stock transfer case, stock rear diff. Just a dog box and built motor, so I don't want to break any of that stuff. Well, I already kind of am. I'm not planning on doing upgraded axles or anything. I do have to rebuild one of the axle boots on the passenger side. Turns out it's torn, which I can do no problem. But yeah, I don't launch the car. It's just pulling away from a stop. It just shudders. So I'm hoping all of this also fixes that issue. Just make the car more streetable. Just basically have it 100% mechanically aspect of just being able to drive it, enjoy it, because that's really what I want to do with this car. I don't want to park it and work on it every 3 months. Like, obviously service stuff, fluids, spark plugs, the stuff that's really high maintenance on a car like this, I don't mind. That's an hour or two of work for everything. Just parking it for months on end or having to do massive jobs all the time, I'm not really wanting to do. I understand it's a highly built race car, essentially, street car. And it's going to have some stuff like this occasionally, but I'm really just trying to get the car to a point where I can confidently just jump in it, drive it every time. Cool, Trans is empty.
All right, we've time traveled a little bit, but I want to give you guys an update here. So, I've got a couple more things pulled out. I've got here the starter, the front half of the rear drive shaft. I've also pulled out the downpipe. Fun fact on the starter, the main wire for its power is right here. So the main power wire for the starter is here, right? You have your starter here, and you have to remove this wire. But with my turbo setup, I had an oil drain line from here up to the turbo right in front of that, and it was basically a hard line I could show you. So this line kind of sat like that, right in front of the starter wire. So I actually had to remove this to get the starter out, but that's okay since the turbo's coming out anyway. Pull the downpipe off just to give me a little bit more clearance and get the transfer case out. I'm gonna try to do it with the subframe in the car, just because I don't really feel like pulling this all off with, in reality it's not much to take off. It's just disconnect the sway bar and the steering rack, and then I can drop the subframe. So if I absolutely have to, it's not a big deal, but if I can avoid it, I'd rather skip it. So what I'm going to try and do now that pretty much all the prep work is over, remove these 3 bolts down here, remove the 3 up top, and try to basically get the transfer case to come down, like clocking it downwards and out. Not sure how smoothly it's going to go for that, but I'm going to try my best to make that happen. Worst case scenario, I'll have to drop the subframe, but save a little bit of time hopefully by not doing that. So we're just going to keep cracking on. Haven't been filming as much because I'm just getting my hands dirty and wrenching away at this, figuring out a game plan. So I will catch up with you in a little bit. Also, while I'm at it, these oil leaks, I'm probably going to resolve while everything's out. Do the oil pan gasket, fix my catch can leak, and try to make this whole thing cleaned up and dry again. Then my oil filters also always leak. I don't know why. They're tight, they're not cross-threaded, but I'll just go through everything while everything's out and resolve that as well. All right, I've pulled out 5 bolts from the transfer case. I think one is missing, which is not a great sign, so I'll have to source one of those. Probably STM has them. But I think it's moment of truth. I'm gonna lift it up all the way, get a pry bar, gently separate the two, and see if I can get the transfer case out. That's step one. Then I'm gonna pull the turbo out, just because I think it'll be a little easier before I start undoing engine mounts for the transmission. And then once the turbo's out and the transfer case is out, then we'll pull the transmission. So slowly but surely we're getting there. It's only been, what, 3 hours so far? I'm not trying to go fast. I'm just trying to go at my own pace so I don't burn myself out real quick. So far so good. See what happens. Being very careful not to drop this on our head. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be doable. I think the subframe's going to come out. Man, it's like so close too. Well, I'm going to do some thinking, but probably drop the subframe. Okay, update. A lot's happened since the last clip. I'm going to talk to you while I work on this. Actually, let me see if I can bring the camera over here somewhere. Ooh, that looks terrible. I can't see what I'm doing now. That's all right. I don't need to see what I'm doing. Status report. Last we spoke, I mentioned the transfer case can't come out. And I was going to think about it, and I came to a conclusion of 2 options. One is remove the rear engine mount, which I have to do at some point anyway to get the transmission out. Tilt the whole engine backwards, and that'll actually lift the engine up enough to get the transfer case out. So I thought, great. Option 2 is just keep moving forward, leave the transfer case where it is, pull the transmission out, and then the transfer case will come out from the side where the transmission was. Either works. In thinking about either of those processes, I determined I'm probably going to need to cradle this engine from the top. I don't have an engine cradle, the one that sits on the fenders, so I'm probably going to do what I've done on my Saab years ago, which is build one out of wood and chains. It works. To support the engine up, because I'm going to have to remove the other 2 engine mounts that are on the driver's side of the car, and that just leaves the one on the passenger side on the engine, and that's not good. To just leave in the car, especially work on, pull the transmission out. So I decided I would remove the turbo before I keep going with removing engine mounts, just because if I do have to build a cradle, which I probably will, it'll be very difficult to get the turbo out afterwards. In doing so, I removed all of the nuts and on the exhaust manifold, because I determined, also looking from underneath, that this I think it's a T4 flange on the hot side of the turbo. It's nearly impossible to get it off in the car with this custom header. There's just no room to get a socket or anything on all the bolts, top or bottom. So decided I'm just going to pull it out with the whole manifold and then just tear it apart on the bench and then send out the turbo on its own. I've removed already the oil line. I had the feed out or the return out earlier, and I've removed the feed now. That was easy. And there's this one nut that I'm wrenching on currently on the exhaust manifold that you have to pull the manifold up or forward quite a bit to get the nut all the way off, which would be fine except for the fact that this car is an external wastegate that normally sits, I don't know, half an inch, quarter of an inch from the radiator. So to bring the whole manifold forward, the radiator was in the way because of the dump tube. The dump tube sits right next to the radiator. So I said, screw it. I need to replace one of these fans anyway because it's too weak. It's just some cheapo fan. It just doesn't move enough air. So I want to replace that anyway. Might as well do it while I'm in here doing everything else on this car. And come on, you sucker. There we go. So I decided, screw it. The radiator's in the way. I'll just pull the radiator out. So I already drained the coolant. And just pull the whole thing out with the dump tube. I did try loosening the V-band on the dump tube, and it wouldn't come loose. It's like a 5/16, and it's crazy tight on there. Probably with all the heat cycles, it made it even tighter. And I didn't want to snap it or slip off it and punch a hole in the aluminum radiator from CSF. So I drained the coolant, made a bit of a mess, as you always do in draining coolant. Even though I just put this coolant in 6 months ago, whatever.
and I don't have enough room to pull the radiator out with the manifold in the way, with the dump tube. Same problem, just all the way around. So I'm like, this doesn't make sense. How am I gonna do this? Why am I getting darker? So I'm trying to figure out what to do. And I look at it again, and I notice that there's also a V-band on the external wastegate, which the dump tube is connected to, that I just didn't see before. I'm like, wow, am I an idiot? Am I really that dumb that I couldn't see the fact that I can just pull the whole gate off instead of doing that on the bench? Yes. I mean, it's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm gonna use whatever excuse I can on that front, but I got that V-band disconnected, and I just got the last nut off the exhaust manifold studs, and I don't have enough room to pull the whole wastegate out the top or the bottom, so it's just kind of sitting there, but it's not attached to the turbo. So I'm hoping I can just take the whole manifold, the turbo, everything. The up pipe is still on the exhaust as well, not the down pipe, just the up pipe, like that tall, and just pull the whole thing up the top. And then lower the car more. I'm gonna be honest, this day I was dreading. I knew I'd have to pull the turbo and the manifold out one day for some reason. And I've looked down here plenty of times and thought, wow, there's no room to do anything there. That's gonna suck. Did not think that day would be today, but hey, here we are. God damn, come on. Well, now what's going on? What are you binding up on? Okay. What you got? Oh, this sounds terrible. How is there not enough room with the radiator here? Put that back on there. Maybe, just maybe. Now, and of course the radiator is binding on literally everything in the way. I should replace that. Good thing I get them from STN. I spent so much money on that website, it's not even funny. Alright, let's lower it back down, try this again. Ow, why, what, when, where, how? This escalated really quick. But yeah, I'm an idiot. Shocker. I am not thinking straight. I actually said there's one pusher, one puller fan, meaning one fan in front of the radiator, one fan behind. And the one in front was zip tied through. Also zip tied through the condenser. Hence why the radiator wasn't coming out. So I pulled the bumper off, I cut those zip ties off, radiator came right out, and so did the turbo. So it's all out. So yay, that part's done. Now I can keep going with the transfer case and the transmission. Remember when I said, oh, it's only 3 hours in, I think it's going pretty smoothly, and I'm trying to pace myself so I don't burn myself out? So like the trade we're getting there, it's only been, what, 3 hours so far? Not trying to go fast, I'm just trying to go at my own pace so I don't burn myself out real quick. So far so good, let's see what happens. That was 2 hours ago. 2.5, 2 hours, somewhere around there. And you know what I did wrong? I didn't knock on wood. We made a cradle. And by we have a guest. I have support. It's 1:30 in the morning now. And I realize I don't have a cradle, so Moritz came with some wood and some screws, and we've made our own cradle to hold the engine. Since we need to go up and down on the lift, I can't use the floor jack. So at this point, we just have one more engine mount. The transmission's unbolted, the rear mount has been taken off. I did that all off camera before Moritz got here. And now we're just going to unbolt it and see if it'll come out of the car.
See if it falls.
Well, us seeing is it not falling,
It's
hopefully.
not going anywhere. You can lift an engine with this. This thing is tough.
This very quickly went from I'm just going to pull out the transmission and the transfer case to let's do the turbo, let's maybe do a radiator, let's do a condenser.
Let's turn up the tune.
Well, no, we're not going to. So this is snowballing very quickly. But anyways, it's late, we have stuff to do, so hopefully this is going to go smoothly from here, knock on wood. Well, this is either going to go very smoothly or very badly. We've got the car halfway up, somewhat on a transmission jack with another ratchet strap. I've got my impact ready for the top engine mount. We're just going to zip it loose.
see what happens and finagle it out from there.
This is on a transmission jack, held up by a block of wood, tied
One
down by
part.
a ratchet strap.
Block of it on one.
In between all the wires.
You know, I know we came up from humble beginnings with our other cars. There's just something about standing on a $500 wheel that feels interesting.
I got all 4 of my rims for $500.
Yeah, this one I'm standing on with a tire costs that much. New at least, I didn't pay that.
That's actually cheaper than I expected. That's not bad.
Oh,
$2,000 for a set of wheels like this?
yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Forged Yankees,
Yeah.
Japanese.
I've seen wheels for like fancy wheels go for like $1,000 each.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not like Blitz or anything. Blitz wheels, a set of original new in box Blitz wheels, if you can find them, in like 18 by 10, 15 grand for the set.
Yeah. That's more than both my cars
And
together.
people put them on drift cars and like scratch them up and everything.
Jesus Christ.
You know Adam Elsie, right?
Yeah.
He.
Where did it go?
I need a mirror, I can't see anything.
A bigger mirror would have been great. All I see is wire.
Can you see the
Thing? Yeah.
No. I was gonna say, you're not that much taller. Aren't we the same height?
Yes, but I got better feelers. What?
Homie's got whiskers on his hands. Is it in?
Yeah. What'd I tell you?
I never want to ask that. It's a late night.
Do we still have to take that top bolt off and pull the plate out of the way?
The plate's not attached to the transmission. So
Yeah, but the plate might be in the way to pull it out and down.
in theory, we should be able to just go.
All right. Last time we tried this, we bent the flywheel.
That was more of your own pry bar doing than anything else. Do not blame this on operation.
Yeah,
It's also on the floor.
Yes.
It's okay, I'm putting a different flywheel in here anyway. Got a new one, or a spare one sitting at the house. What's P? Coolant. Okay. Okay, don't pull on that. Don't just slide it back in either. I'll put some pressure on it.
Three points of contact, we're good. How do you loosen it?
Loosen what?
Let this down.
This guy.
Ah. Whoop.
Maybe I shouldn't be right under this engine.
How do you go down?
Pull it.
Wait, pull up?
No, there's a twist it. There's a sticker right next to it. All right. Okay. That's enough. Okay, up, please. Turn it that way.
That's easy.
Oh my god, that's easy. 17. Everything's a 17 or a 14 on this car.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna watch this video and she's gonna be like, I thought you were just gonna drop off wood.
I'm not forcing you to keep helping me, but it is appreciated.
can't help it.
Doing this part alone would have.
I, for some odd reason, came here in the middle of the night to bring you some supplies.
I also didn't even ask. I said I need to kind of build a cradle. You need a part supply? Yes, please.
Yeah. I mean, what were you gonna do?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't
How was? There's no way you would have been able to make this with the stuff you have here. You got a welder, right? Oh no, you don't have a welder.
do have a welder.
Oh, you got a welder.
110 one.
It's fine. Good enough for a cradle.
Yeah, but what metal? I'm gonna cut up the new guy's toolbox.
Take some snips to it.
I have snips. Okay, Mr. Feeler Gauge.
Feeler gauge.
Is this the part where I can just tie the air hose around my neck? Wait. Don't touch anything. I said don't do anything! Move!
Hey, I'm sorry.
Oh no!
Oh. No, it's just a bracket.
Okay.
Hold on, there's a plug underneath the cable wire. There you go. Everything's through here.
Here, straight down. This is gonna suck going back in.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Dog box officially out. I don't know, I pulled it apart, so you'd think I know. Also, I don't know if this is normal,
Oh.
but in the transfer case, it sits in itself. The transfer case, it's still in here. What's this up?
What?
The car.
Oh. Oh, the engine moved a lot.
It's good on YouTube. Can you actually pull it towards you?
I'm spinning.
Come on!
No, I gotta pass the engine.
Huh?
I gotta
Yeah,
pass
I'm
it.
pulling the engine. From somewhere.
Yeah.
There's not a lot left on here. Here we go.
Oh, good luck.
It's okay. It should basically pop right out.
Should.
Good catch. Told you it's not light. There's a whole
50 pounds!
There's a whole ring gear in there.
Oh, I almost dropped that.
I saw. So did the camera.
It's so much heavier than I expected.
I told you it's not light.
Wow. Oh,
Success! Oh, now I have to put everything back together after.
that's in 2 months.
Probably less. A month and a half.
Oh, I wore my nice.
Workout clothes. You know, it's just now hitting me that my race car is in pieces.
It's in a lot of pieces too.
Well, that stuff's simple. It's just axles and exhaust pipes and intercooler pipes. This stuff, though, this is
Yeah.
a little bit more daunting now.
There's literally parts everywhere too.
Oh, a little bit.
You know, I want to tell a funny story.
Oh boy.
Because this bolt reminded me of it.
Here we go.
So the first ever thing I did was on our Focus. When I got the Focus, the first ever project that I fixed on the car was fixing the piston.
Yeah.
We swapped the piston. And I remember we worked with my dad the whole time, like over a weekend, swapped the piston, and we had like a bolt like this left over, like a big one. And my dad's like, it's probably fine. Left it out of the car, never had any issues. We never put it back.
I'm trying to think back to my ownership of that car, if I could have ever figured out.
We weren't sure because it was in his like awning garage
for
thing.
the car.
We did have a lot of bolts on the table, but this was on the table. And we had this big extra bolt, and my dad's like, there's always a bolt left over, but this is a kind of a big one.
Yeah, I don't think it was for the car itself, because I did a lot of wrenching on that car after it was handed down to me.
I did too, afterwards. You never found anything.
Yeah, I never found where it might have.
Still put the... You're putting everything rebuilt in, might as well put the new clutch in.
Yeah, there's only like 500 miles in the other clutch.
Yeah. X-Eddy.
What the did you just call it?
X-Eddy.
Exity.
X-Eddy.
No, not X Eddie.
X-Eddy's a stupid name.
It's not eggs and Eddie. That was hard to say.
It's late.
Exity.
It's exiting like your rods.
No, not like my rods.
Exiting the block.
Not my rods. Thank you very much. You have to hold this flywheel. What the fuck? Well, I can't put it in gear, can I?
How did you get this far?
What do you mean?
Alone.
You should be impressed. Ready?
Nope. Go.
There's one.
Wow, it moved up quite a bit. Jeez.
Ready? Yep. Ooh. What size is that?
1712.
I know I said
What's the last thing you told me?
that's not from Mitsubishi. That's not a factory part. If anything, it's one of the things in the car that's the most far from it. Is that my water?
I'm just checking something.
What?
Don't worry about it.
What was that? What just happened?
I was seeing if I could stuff this into the pipe to
What
make
pipe?
it to stop it leaking.
Just put the radiator back in.
Yeah. The leaky one?
Hey. Stop putting this bad juju up. Come on, my rods, my leaking radiator. I'm trying to fix the thing, not blow it up.
You're fixing everything but the rods.
They don't need to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
Stop. Get the out.
I'm purposely gonna be malice when you're putting your Ramcharger engine together.
No!
Talking about blowing up rods and shit. You'll see. You'll see a blown up rod.
I'm not changing the rods on that.
The rod bearings.
Yeah.
It'd be a shame if we omitted a few.
I wouldn't be surprised with my building skills.
Where the fuck is my 12 mil socket? No, it's right in front of me.
It's getting late. It's getting early.
It's getting.
It's 3 a.m.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-oh, I'm late.
I didn't think it got that late that quick.
No, I'm still. It's 2:58. I got time.
2 minutes? What was your cutoff?
3?
Oh.
Well, I was supposed to be home by 3.
Okay, bye. Have a good night.
I could have been asleep. Actually, I was asleep. Then I woke up and I'm like, hey, you want some help? Hi. Whoa, you twisted the bit.
That's what I was trying to show you, yeah.
Let me see if you can pick it up on camera. Look at that.
These are tight, man. It's a
Twisted it.
It's been very, very fast, very big time.
Ho, 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 ho. Wow, it's really crooked.
Here, take it. Take this. Okay. I was paying attention more to the camera than I was what I was doing.
We got it off.
Yeah, it's always the last bolt, right?
We had to cut a slit in it and then hammer in a T45 because we tried 3 different extractors.
Don't put we in this. I was not confident to begin
I
with.
tried 3 different extractors.
Pressure plate. Now,
Oh!
yeah, it's in there. Oh wow, yeah, okay. That's hot spotted like crazy. So I mentioned this earlier in the video. I don't know if I ever mentioned it to you. I've had a problem more recently in the car where you go from a standstill and the whole thing shudders really bad when you first let off the clutch.
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah.
it only does it sometimes. This would be why. Feel it, the surface.
Yeah, it's glazed over.
So to show you guys here, very hot spotted. You can feel all that. So definitely not going to be using this clutch unless emergency situations. You can get these lathed down, but it's kind of a turned. Yes, there you go. That's what I'm looking for. But when it's this far gone and it's floater discs like this, it's kind of useless. You're better off just ordering replacements. The nice thing with exiting clutches is that you can just order any of these piece by piece. Okay, it's a good thing I'm replacing this. These only have 4 mil of pad material from factory.
Do you have a caliper?
It's dead. But that half is like 1 mil.
Yeah, yep.
This clutch is.
Oh, it's 4 mil per side?
I think so.
You got maybe. That's less than a mil. You got maybe 1.5 mil total.
There was, maybe on a good day with a good driver like me, maybe 5,000 miles on this clutch before it started slipping. If that. Now, one thing I was worried about, which I'll show you after I put this floater down, which is weird because, well, it's not weird. I mean, I never launched the car, but if previous owners did, if they're not nice to the clutch, they will do this with one launch.
Wow.
Now, what I was worried about is these teeth here. So this spline is actually floating.
Mm-hmm.
It's what all the discs float on all the way through. On early XZD triples especially, they were known for the teeth on the clutch discs here turning to circles.
Oh, Jesus.
Like fully rounding out.
Yeah.
And these, because this is really hard steel and this is soft, and then your discs wouldn't obviously do anything, they're not spinning. They have supposedly since resolved it. It looks like they have, because, yeah, see?
Oh my god,
They're going.
yeah.
They're starting to go.
Rounding the teeth.
Yeah, so it's not as bad as it once was, but it's definitely still.
Yeah, but how many miles does this clutch have on it?
I assume the same as the transmission, so between 10 and 15,000.
It's nothing. That's, dude,
That's normal for competition clutches.
That's wild.
This is actually impressively high mileage for a dog box and a competition clutch. Normally, if they're being beat on 5,000 miles, full rebuild. I'll show the.
I think it's 4 mil total.
You can see the edges of the teeth getting worn up here. On the old early XZD triples, these would just round out completely, and then you'd lose your clutch. Last floater. This one's the least amount glazed, but it's definitely still very glazed. Ooh, the backside's rough on that one.
Oh yeah, it feels like scales. Oh, that's why they call it scale. It's not that bad as the other one.
Now these naturally float. There's when the clutch is disengaged, these discs float. There's no set pressure on them, so they're naturally going to have chatter, which you'll hear. But this is not ideal. Ooh, this one's had a hard life.
Oh wow, it's falling apart.
You can see on the edges of the pads there, clutch material's just going. Oh, look at this back one. Oh, dude, this clutch is done.
Yeah, yeah, you got like a fifth of your clutch pad missing.
Yeah, this clutch was done. This explains the shutter right there.
I've never actually felt like actually what's scaled.
Well, so this is what hot spots are.
Yeah.
The clutch gets so hot, the metal gets so hot on repeated hard launches that spots in the metal get hard and it heat treats it.
Yeah.
And when you go to turn it,
The crystal structure scales it.
and when you go to turn it on a lathe, they'll never, I mean, you'll turn it flat, but then you start driving and those hot spots will stay at a higher point. So all things considered with these center teeth, even though they're chewed up, the clutch is at its end of its life anyway. So I'd say they've fixed it.
Yeah.
Because it used to be 2,000 miles and these were
Yeah.
round.
They're just starting to right now,
Yeah.
like.
And you want the discs to be softer. Because the problem is, if this is softer, your center disc, it's going to round out on your actual flywheel output.
Yeah.
If it lasted the life of the pad material, that's all that matters. So, like I said, it only just started getting bad in the last 500 miles where it shutters, and it's not all the time. So, this clutch is definitely not going back in. I will keep the parts for rebuild because you can buy the floater discs and the actual pad material, clutch discs, all separately. It's almost the cost of a new clutch, but you're saving some money.
Yeah.
The pressure plate I can probably reuse. Cool, man. We did it. Now I gotta pallet these up, send them off, box up the turbo, send that off after I tear it down, and wait for them to get back, order some other new parts, and roll it back together.
Eggs, and Eddie.